Welcome. Today I'll be doing Calculus for Social Science revision. Here we have some multiple choice questions where I am going to work out each of the questions and select the correct option. So the first question states, given that y equal ln 2x squared plus 5, then this is asking you to differentiate. And to differentiate a ln function, it is f prime x over fx, where fx is a function that is within the ln. I have 2x squared plus 5, and that represents f of x. So if I want f prime x, I will differentiate this to get 4x. So when we differentiate, we put it in the fraction form, so I'd have 4x over 2x squared plus 5. So that means my answer is A, because in this question, we have f prime, which is 4x, and fx is 2x squared minus 5. The next question I have, if y equal ln e to the 4x, then dy over dx, this is telling us to differentiate. But first, log rule states that we can carry this in front, so the power can go in front. So I have y equal 4x ln e, and ln e is 1, so this disappear. So we have y equal 4x, and now we can differentiate. So y prime is equal to 4. So my answer is C. Given that y equal minus 2x to the 5, this is telling me to differentiate twice. So here, y prime, differentiating this, 5 2's 10, so I have minus 10. Subtract 1 from the power, so I get 4. Differentiate a second time, so I'll have 4 times negative 10, that's negative 40. And then subtract 1 from the power, so I have cube. The function y equal 1 plus 4x minus x squared has a turning point at x equal. Now, turning point is when f prime is equal to 0, or in this case, it's y prime equals 0. So we differentiate this 1. When we differentiate 1, that gives me 0. When we differentiate 4x, that gives me 4. And then when we differentiate minus x squared, it will give me minus 2x. So equating this to be equal to 0, so I have 4 minus 2x equals 0. So we carry the minus 2x over the equal sign, so I have 4 is equal to 2x. Then divide both sides by 2. So this cancels, so x is equal to 2. So my answer is C. The points are points of inflection on the graph of the function fx equal 2x cubed minus 12x squared occurs when x equal which of the following? Now, for the point of inflection, it's when f double prime is equal to 0. That's when we have point of inflection. So first, finding f prime, I differentiate 2x cubed, that gives me 6x squared. Then we differentiate minus 12x squared, that gives me minus 24x. Differentiate it a second time, so I have this to be 12x, and minus 24x to give me minus 24. Then equate it to be equal to 0. So I have 12x minus 24 equals 0. And solving, carry this over. So I have 12x equal 24. Then divide both sides by 12. So this cancels, so x is equal to 2. So my answer is C. The next question, the total cost function for a manufacturer's product is given by this. So this is our total cost function. Therefore, the marginal cost function is equal to which of the following? It's just differentiating. So marginal cost is when you differentiate the total cost. So we say 4 twos 8 and subtract 1 from the power. So we have Q3. Differentiate this, so we have minus 3. The Q becomes 1, that's why it becomes minus 3.
The answer is D.
So it means if we gave you the revenue function and asked you to find marginal revenue, then you would have differentiate. If you're given the profit function and asked to find marginal profit, you would differentiate. If y squared minus 4x squared equal 1, then dy over dx is equal to what? This is an implicit differentiation question. So wherever I see y, we put dy over dx. So when I differentiate y squared, I get 2y, but I'm going to put dy over dx. This is just a normal x function, so this is going to be minus 8x equal differentiate 1, that's 0. After you have differentiate, you make dy over dx be the subject. So carry over the minus 8x, so I have 2y dy over dx equal 8x. Then divide both sides by 2y. So this cancels, so we have dy over dx is equal to 8x over 2y. Now, 28 goes 4 times, so it means it's the same thing as saying 4x over y. So looking at this, my answer is C. Okay, so for this one, if the total cost function for manufacture is given by this, we need to find then the marginal cost at Q is approximately which of the following. So we have to find C prime, which is the marginal cost. So we differentiate this, 8 threes, 24. Subtract 1 from the power, so we have Q squared minus 3. So therefore, I have 24 Q squared. So 5 5 is 25 minus 3. So 24 times 25, that's going to give me 600. And then you take away 3 from it, so it gives me 597. Find the partial derivative with respect to x. So we differentiate this to get 6x squared minus 4 twos 8x, and rewrite my y, and this would be 0, so that's gone. Differentiate y equal ln 5 to the x plus 1. So we ln both sides, so we have ln y equal ln 5 to the x plus 1. Then carry the power in front, so we have ln y equal x plus 1 ln 5. Then we go ahead and differentiate, so we have 1 over y dy over dx equal, now because this right here, we don't have to use product rule because this is like a constant. So we could just differentiate this as is, to say differentiate x to get 1 and differentiate 1 would get 0. And we timesing it by ln 5, which is our constant. So in other words, what we will have here is 1 over y dy over dx, and ln 5 times 1, that's ln 5. And then get rid of the 1 over y, so we multiply both sides by y. So this cancels, so we have dy over dx over dx is equal to y ln 5, but y is 5 to the power x was 1. So I have 5 to the power x plus 1 ln 5. Differentiate y equal ln 5x over e to the 3x. So in this scenario, we're going to have y prime is equal to, using quotient rule, v square over vu prime minus uv prime. So the numerator is u and the denominator is v. So u prime will be 5 over 5x because you differentiate the inside to get 5 and you rewrite the denominator, which I can simplify further to see 1 over x because 5 into itself goes 1 time. V prime, you differentiate e to the 3x, you get 3e to the 3x. So substituting, v is e to the 3x, u prime is 1 over x, u is ln 5x, and v prime is 3e to the 3x, all over v square, which is e to the 3x, all squared. Now we can go further, but I'm going to leave it as it is and continue. Given the curve y equal 18x minus 2/3 x cubed, the curve has a minimum point of -3 and -36 and passes through the origin. Determine the maximum point. So first we have to find that point. And to find that point, we have to find y prime. So y prime is 18 minus, when you bring down the 3 times 2/3 is going to give me 2. Then you subtract 1 from the power to get 2. So in other words, you have 2 over 3, differentiate x cubed, you get 3x squared. And the 3 times the 2/3, the 3 cancels, so that's why I have 2x squared. Then we equate it to be equal to 0. So I have 18 minus 2x squared equals 0. I'm going to carry over the 2x squared, so I have 18 equal 2x squared. So divide both sides by 2. This cancel. So I have x squared equal 9. Square root. And once you square it, it is plus or minus 3. So here I have x is positive 3 and negative 3. They already found when it's negative 3. So going ahead to find when it is positive 3. Substituting the original to find y. So we're going to have 18 times 3 minus 2 over 3 times 3 cubed. 18 times 3, that's 54. 3 cubes 27, but 27 divided by 3 is 9, so 9 twos 18. 54 minus 18, that gives me 36. So my next turning point, x is 3 and y is 36. Now the next part, deduce the point of inflection. So I have to find y double prime. So I differentiate this that I have. Again, this is 0. When I differentiate minus 2x squared, that becomes minus 4x. Then I equate this to be equal to 0 and divide both sides by minus 4. So x equals 0. To find y, we always go to the original. So 18 times 0 minus 2/3 times 0 cubed. That's going to be 0. So that means point of inflection happens when x is 0 and y is 0. Russell and Williams Limited monthly demand for semi-smart phones is given by P equal 2,400 minus 6Q, where P denotes the price in dollars of each semi-smart phone and Q denotes the quantity demanded. Find the revenue function of Russell and Williams Limited. So revenue is equal to price times quantity. So the revenue is equal to price times quantity. And this is our price function. So revenue is equal to 2,400 minus 6Q times quantity, which is Q. So multiply these two. We'll have 2,400Q minus 6Q squared. So that's the revenue function. We'll find the quantity that will maximize the revenue. That's when we differentiate and find marginal revenue and it's equal to 0. So differentiating this, we get 2,400, which is 2,400, minus 12Q, and we equate it to be equal to 0. So solving, I carry this over, so I have 2,400 equal 12Q, and then divide both sides by 12. So Q is equal to 200. And that represents the quantity where revenue is maximized. So in order to get maximum revenue, you have to produce 200 goods. Given the function that we have here, find differentiating with respect to x. We have x cubed becomes 3x squared. We differentiate x, it becomes 1. So 1 times 3, that's minus 3y squared. And differentiate 3x, that gives me 3. This would be 0, so 4y would be 0. But differentiate minus 5x squared, 2 5s 10, so that's minus 10xy cubed. Differentiate with respect to y, this would be 0. Differentiate the y squared, I would have minus 3x, 2y. This would be 0, while this would be plus 4. Differentiate the y cubed, so I have my minus 5x squared, but the y cubed becomes 3y squared. So simplifying our answer, we have minus 6xy plus 4 minus, this would be 15x squared y squared. Now the next part, which is the second derivative, we look for the partial derivative with respect to y, and then we differentiate it with respect to x. So the above that I have here with respect to y, I'm going to differentiate with respect to x. So this x become 1. So I have minus 6 times 1y. The next part would be 0 minus differentiate x squared. So that becomes 2x. And then we have our y squared. So in other words, it's minus 6y minus 30xy squared. This one I'm differentiating with respect to x. I'm looking for the one that has with respect to x and differentiate with respect to y. So in other words, this is it. And I am now going to differentiate my y variable. So this would be 0. Differentiate 3y minus 3y squared. That's minus 6y. 3 would be 0. And then you differentiate the y cubed. So I'm going to rewrite minus 10x. But differentiate the other part, I am going to have 3y squared. Simplifying, I'm going to write it above. I have minus 6y and 3 times 10 minus 30x y squared. Differentiate with respect to x twice. So going back to this, we differentiate x again. So this becomes 6x. And then this x become 1. So it's minus 10y cubed. This is saying differentiate with respect to y once more. So this is it. So this y becomes 1. So 1 times minus 6x, that's minus 6x. And then there's no y here, but here I have a y here. So I'd have minus 15x squared. Then differentiate y squared to get 2y. So that means I have minus 6x minus, this would be minus 30x squared y. And that's it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.